What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank, and I have a question for white men specifically. Now, white men, in their culture, in the way they think, they always accuse black people and brown people of being violent criminals, and that's their justification for everything that they do. That's the reason why they supposedly want us to leave, their neighborhoods and their communities. That's the reason why every time a black person walks around a community that white people deem to be a white community, they have the need, they feel the urge to go out and confront that black person as if they are policing or protecting the community from that black person that they don't know, or from that brown person that they don't know, right? They constantly, in all of their social medias and all of their old medias in their communities, they constantly say that they are threatened by the black man and his willingness or his history of taking advantage of women, right? So they're afraid that the black man is going to harm their women, right? So that's a major thing, right? Or that maybe the brown man is going to harm their women. That's why you gather in mobs and attack black people. That's why you gather in mobs and you lynch black people. That's why you gather in mobs and you hunt black people. This your whole reason for doing this, because you're protecting the women in your community, right? And that is a fair reason to attack anybody, and it's a fair reason to harm them or to dispatch them from this world, right? Because they are threatening to harm your women, right? And your children, right? So with that being said, right? Now, I know there are some cases at which a black person has done this to your women, right? Or a brown person has done this to your women, right? But this has been for hundreds of years. You're almost like your single justification for why you are so violent and why you justify your violence towards black people. This is this excuse that you use. So, with all being equal, every other group of people should be able to react to you the same way you react to them. So, since white people, right, Europeans, historically have been the ones to do all of the raping of women, i.e., white people went to Africa, right, and raped our black women. White people went to Africa, stole our women, a lot of our women, and us men, but we're specifically talking about women, because this is what you use to justify your violence towards us. Brought us to the Americas, where you, for 500 years, raped our women. And also raped our children, because many of those black women, majority of those black women that you raped were children, right? You went to India and you raped Indian women. Millions of them, right? You went to Japan and you raped millions of women. You went to China and you guys systematically raped millions of women. You guys went to Hawaii, you raped millions of women. You guys went to Guam and you raped millions of women. You guys went to Australia and you raped millions of women. You also raped millions of your own women, right? And many of these women, like I said, are children, right? This is a historical fact. It doesn't matter if you guys put uniforms on and had badges, that you are a man and these are the actions that you are doing, right? Hundreds of years of documented evidence and many generations to prove that you have done these things. Currently, right now, We have billionaires in your class who have whole islands, right? The ones that we found, because I'm sure there's more, where you guys do this to children, right? We just caught a massive international sex trafficking ring where the majority of the criminals captured were of your racial group. And I'm pretty sure the customers who can afford it are of your racial group. They also found in Alabama more of you with children doing the same thing with children, right? And statistically, since we do know that you guys value statistics, 70% of all children who are taken advantage of are done by you white males, right? So would it be fair to say, right? And this is among many other crimes that you guys commit. Because keep in mind, we're supposed to be criminals, criminal activities, disrupting a community, by doing violent crimes, okay? So we know historically you guys do that. Currently, right now, you guys are doing it in the Gaza Strip, where hundreds of thousands are being killed by people like you. Benjamin Netanyahu is a white man from Europe, just like most of those people in Israel are white men from Europe who stole somebody, went to somebody, the same way you don't like them invading your spaces, right? You guys invaded somebody else's space. It's been about 75 to 85 years now. You guys have been occupying a space that doesn't belong to you. The same way you occupy many different people's spaces right now that doesn't belong to you. Australia, South Africa. Oh, I didn't even mention South Africa about the raping and all that stuff, right? There was just a case where some farmers are being held accountable for the murder of our women. So if we use your logic, since you guys say y'all are the leaders of the world, you guys assume that you guys are the leaders of the world. If we use your logic, shouldn't every single Asian man, African man, Polynesian man, Australian man, shouldn't all of us men who are not European look at you and say, what are you doing on my planet, boy? Shouldn't we all gather together in mobs and look for people that look just like you and dispatch you from this planet? Would we be wrong for doing those things to you, seeing how you have not shown an ability to hold yourselves accountable for your obvious actions that everybody know that you do? Especially since we have this thing called a camera, we have the internet, we have technology that has exposed what it is you guys do in the dark. You see, before, we couldn't gather all this information together because we didn't have social media. You guys controlled the newspaper. Therefore, you wrote and lied about your activities, or you romanticized your dealings around the world. But now that the truth is coming out, shouldn't all males who are not white view you as criminals, as rapists, as pedophiles, as vagabonds to the human race? And shouldn't we want to dispatch you from this? I mean, are we wrong for feeling about you the same way you supposedly and have, spoken how you guys feel about us? Especially since the things that you accuse us of, the things that you are afraid of us doing, you guys are the perpetrators of that on a grand scale. And you've been doing it for hundreds of years. Because when you committed all your atrocities you did it all at the same time. While you were enslaving us, you were enslaving Japanese, Chinese, you were colonizing, because colonization and slavery are damn near the same thing. The only difference is the slavery, you transported us, right? You transported us to do it over here, while you just did the same thing to other people in their countries. So with all of your history that some of you guys are actually proud of, so there's no remorse. You don't have remorse because all of your so-called white history is nothing but that. All of your conquering is nothing but that. Your criminal activity over 500 years. So should we judge you? Should we judge your culture? Should every time we see one of you, should we question why you're there, boy? Should we gather in mobs on a planetary scale and eliminate you? I mean, would that not be what you would do? if you had the capability of doing it. If the world was 80% white, European, and all of us brown people only made up, 20%, and we were that vicious towards you, if we went and we raped your daughters for hundreds of years, enslaved your men, enslaved your daughters, enslaved your mom for hundreds of years, colonized all your lands, killed you, murdered you, treated you like you were less than human. If 20% of us brown people did that to you, and then you guys fought your way out of it, despite it, and you guys gained power, what do you think you guys would do to us once you had the ability to dispatch all of us, especially with all the things that we've done to you? So I'm just asking you white people, what would you do if you was us and we were you, and we did all the things to you that you did to us, and we were continuing to do all the things to you that you guys continue to do to us, all the way to the point to where the highest office of the land, you have a pedophile criminal president who is a manifestation of everything whiteness has always been about since whiteness manifested itself in the 1600s. Since we have a German third freaking generation president who is not a American, not a foundational white American, he is a immigrant's grandchild. Since we have this European neo-Nazi in office, right, who manifests everything Europe has been about, from the Vikings, who you are so proud of, who literally just did this, which, I talk about, and that's what you're proud about, from all your crusades at which you just did this, which we're talking about, from every point of expansion of you Europeans, when you were greeted and welcomed by all the melanated people around the world with love and care, right? What would you do if it was the other way around? Since this president of the United States and almost every European heads of state represents exactly who you've always been since y'all came out those caves, what would you think the rest of the world would want to do to an invasive species like yourself? I mean, think about this. If you go to Africa, right, and an African has never seen a white person, we would be curious. We would say, oh, look at that pale person. We may be scared of it. We may be curious, but we're not trying to kill it. But on the other hand, when anybody else goes to a European place, it's met with hostility, right? So you believe your hostility is warranted. So should every place you fly, every place you try to vacation on this planet, should we meet you with the same energy that you meet us with? Like, even to this day, should Europeans, right? Europeans, when they travel to Africa, when they travel to Asia, when they travel to Australia, when they travel to any place, should the local people treat you Europeans the way you Europeans treat everybody else when they visit your countries? Because you're very racist to people who visit your countries randomly on the street. But when you come to everybody else's country, your people are hospitable to you. So should we treat you the way you treat us? I'm just asking, is it fair that we give you the same energy that you give us? And would you be able to handle it? Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
What you say is completely right about the condemning an entire category of people on the basis that one of them might one day commit a crime is the essence of prejudice, is literally the definition of prejudice. It's prejudging an entire group of people.
Listen to this fascinating perspective from a caller on the James O'Brien Show, discussing the Epping riots and racial prejudice that leads on to why women being sexually abused by white men is a topic that's often ignored.
But secondly, this is a trend that we've seen in this country and across certainly the English-speaking world for a long, long time. I mean, hundreds of years, certainly decades of using fear of violence against women and girls and children, to excuse demonization of outsider groups. And, the great civil rights activist and writer Angela Davis calls this the myth of the outsider rapist. She was talking then about the excuse of how many black men in the American South were being murdered by mobs of white racists who convinced themselves that they were simply protecting their women. This was used as the excuse for lynchings. And in the British occupation of India, we justified massacres by saying we were just retribution for rape, real or imagined attacks on white women, and the argument that black and brown men pose a unique threat to women and to white women and children is not new at all. It's a very, very old form of prejudice. And another group we see being targeted by exactly this kind of lie is transgender people, and particularly transgender women right now. I mean, you had this discussion on the show, quite recently, saying like, well, is this a unique threat to women and girls? Are transgender women some kind of unique threat to women? Of course they're not. But somehow we can only speak about this kind of violence when we project it onto outsiders. Absolutely. And look, there are quite a few women in some of these racist and homophobic, transphobic movements who have found, one way in which they're finally allowed to speak about real violence that they've seen and suffered in their lives, about because violence against women and children is a real thing, and yet somehow, finally, by some miracle, everybody who dismissed it for years and years and years suddenly seems to care about it when we're blaming it on outsiders. But you see people talking about our women. Those people aren't allowed to attack women, our women. Only we are. It's about territory, about property.
Blimey.
Who is allowed to? Honestly, this is the attitude I've seen. I've been doing activism in this kind of area for a very long time.
And that would explain why, I don't know if anyone ever dug into how disproportionate it was, but there were certainly many cases of people in the EDL being found guilty of precisely the sort of crimes that they claimed to resist when they were committed by people of different backgrounds.
Wait. Before you go, for all my subscribers and philanthropists out there, I'm building a solar power community water bowl system in Nigeria. It's going to cost between $5,000 and $6,000. I'm trying to raise money. If you want to participate and help me build this solar power water system, please donate to the Cash App and put solar water in the notes. Solar water in the notes. I'll put PayPal, Stripe, and Zelle. Anyway, thank you. That's all I got to say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out. Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.